With the ban on Russian oil, he wants to remind you that you're not in traffic. You are traffic. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. No choice but to get on. Mandate. Get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. We love that about you, right, Gina Grad?
That's right.
And Bald Bryan.
Boner juice.
I was thinking about oil, and I was thinking about micro and macro issues, and it struck me that, we're talking about, maybe we'll cut off Russia, and then we'll go to Venezuela, and we'll go to Iran, and we'll get some oil from some other horrible place. Doesn't seem like a great plan, but all right, we'll go somewhere else marginally less horrible, or maybe in Venezuela's case, maybe more horrible, but not
different way.
Not waging a war right now. And then we'll give them money. But then I started thinking about these places. You go Russia, and America creates a lot of product too, a lot of oil, but we're kind of diversified. And I thought, a lot of then you start thinking about the Middle East, you know what I mean? And then you go, most of these places, ironically, that create oil don't build an automobile, which is weird. It's like, ironic. You go, Wisconsin, we got a lot of dairy, and we have a lot of cheese.
It makes sense.
It's like, okay, you hand do that, hand. Then we got this. Yeah. It's funny that these places that have all the oil are... they import our cars or cars from Europe or whatever. So then I started thinking, out of the top 20 oil-producing nations, who's making a car?
Huh.
And I'll give you the top 20. We're number one at almost 11 million barrels.
Yeah, USA.
A day, I think it is. And then Russia's just a tick beneath us. And Russia doesn't really make a car. They make a cardboard car or something like that. Saudi Arabia is number 3. Oh, yeah. They don't make a car. Iraq, 4, no cars. Canada makes cars we tell them to make, like Mexico, but I don't know if they have their own Canadian mobile. Iran, no cars. China makes a lot of electric cars now, ironically. United Arab Emirates, no car. Kuwait, no car. Brazil, no car. Nigeria, no car. Kazakhstan, no car. Mexico, no car. Angola, no car. Norway. Huh? Do they do a car?
If you don't know, the answer is probably no.
All right.
Volvo? Where's Volvo from?
It's all Sweden. Okay. Yeah. Venezuela, no car. Qatar, no car. Algeria, no car at number 18. Libya, sorry, no car at 19. And then at the very bottom with 1 million barrels, United Kingdom, who does do a car. And I thought, now what's going on? Because I don't think it's a coincidence. And then I realized, when you have all this money that you're standing on, so literally in the ground beneath you, why would you be motivated to build airplanes and cars and really diversify?
No, it's a trust fund.
Yes, if you
have no reason to work.
Yes. Do you think there's 2 kids? One has a trust fund baby. The other one has poor parents. Who's opening the lemonade stand?
Yeah.
That's what's going on, I think. And in a weird way, I think it fucks you up as a... by the way, who has no oil? Japan. They make all the good cars. It's not a coincidence. They go, we can't get by on pulling shit out of the ground. We got to do stuff on top of the ground.
Interesting.
And from a psychodynamic standpoint, I think knowing, or whatever it is, it could be uranium, or could be something like knowing that you're rich in this mineral, or this oil, or this whatever it is, kind of slows. Everyone shifts to the production of that, trying to get it out of the ground, trying to mine it. And we don't shift to Japan. I don't think Japan has any real natural energy, but they do crank out a very high quality of a whole bunch of different shit.
Right.
I mean, motorcycles and lawnmowers and airplanes, and they just boom, 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 because they have to. That's how they get paid.
Interesting. It's kind of like a sports team. I'm thinking of the Lakers, but there's probably a better example where maybe you don't draft the best talent. That's just not something you do. It's like, hey, we got a shitload of money. We'll just bring in LeBron James and Russell Westbrook. We'll sign. We'll get our talent through free agency as opposed to the draft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't have the answer to this. Maybe we need more. If we're number one, then what do we care if we're not getting it from Russia?
Well, we're still relying.
Does our need exceed our production?
Yes.
damn it.
And we export.
We're only getting 2% of our need from Russia. So it's really not, we're only getting 2% of the oil we use on a daily
Sweet.
basis from Russia.
Do svidanya.
Europe gets like 27%.
Oh, yeah.
So it really doesn't affect
They're
us.
fucked. Yeah.
Yeah, Europe has Greta Thunberg. She's like, close down these nuclear power plants. They're
Okay.
like, all right, Greta, you're 14 and a half. Any other marching orders?
Yes, dear leader Putin.
We'll shut it all down, and then we'll just get it from Russia.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
great.
So there was that. There was also, I was watching the beginning of Extra with Billy Bush, and he was playing this
The show's still on.
clip.
Apparently.
Oh, yeah. Playing this clip of what I was talking about, which is Sting has now gone back into studio, and he's laying down our Russian children, too. They have mothers and children, too. He never thought this would be something he would revisit from 1985. But the beginning also had a clip that we could imagine from John Lennon, I think, as well.
I'm really hoping that the world can begin to follow the advice of John Lennon's Imagine.
John Lennon's Vietnam-era song is being remembered as Sting revives his Cold War anthem.
I hope the Russians love their children too.
Sting performed the 1985 song he revealed he has rarely had a reason to sing, and he dedicated it to those in the war zone.
For the brave Ukrainians fighting against this brutal tyranny, and also the many Russians who are protesting this outrage. Stop the war.
Done and done.
Yeah.
All right, listen, I don't have any Stinger missiles, but I am going to dedicate a ballad that I wrote 19 years ago to you. So
Everyone does
We're
their
good.
part.
that should stop the bleeding. But because I'm the world's number one dickhead, got that, Brian?
Yep.
I'm the only person that doesn't like John Lennon's Imagine.
Yeah.
Because everyone else, it's an anthem.
Well, you're certainly the only celebrity.
It's
who
an
doesn't like
anthem.
it.
You have to love that song
It's
because
cloying.
I totally agree, but I also think it's dangerous.
Ooh.
Because imagining shit doesn't get anything done. It literally lives in your imagination. And I was thinking about that, and I stumbled upon a Kamala Harris clip from earlier today, or yesterday, I think it was, where she was talking about not relying on the fossil fuels, and she had a thought about it that'll tie into this quite nicely.
Imagine a future,
Here we go.
the freight trucks that deliver bread and milk to our grocery store shelves,
Put this
and
to
the
music.
buses that take children to school and parents to work. Imagine all the heavy-duty vehicles that keep our supply lines strong and allow our economy to grow. Imagine that they produced zero emissions.
I'd like that.
Well, you all imagined it. That's why we're here today. Because we have the ability to see what can be, unburdened by what has been,
Who's she talking to?
and then to make the possible actually happen.
Okay.
So if you can believe it, you can achieve it, she's saying.
Right. But we're in a war almost with Russia. We need a bunch of fossil fuels. All the shit is going down. And we're talking about imagining a bakery truck that is delivering our goods and our kids on a bus, an imaginary bus. This is the dangerous part. Now it satiates. See, this is what I always go. She's done her part. What's the solution? What's going on with energy? Well, she just told you. We'd imagine a world where we have trucks.
I like it.
Now, she can imagine all she wants. Elon Musk is going to have to get the fuck to work. She's done all the heavy lifting of imagining this thing. Now he's got to fucking open up a factory in Texas somewhere and actually do something. We're going to have like engineers and
Right.
stuff. Yes.
No, it's like The Boss. We've all had it, and Lynch and I used to joke about it. Like the guy who, specifically in like the comedy world, like email. There's something funny there. Go write a joke.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well you've done all the heavy lifting.
Do a video, make it go viral.
Yeah. So we've transition. Now, leaders didn't used to talk about imagining. That was John Lennon. You want to fucking get high and kick a hacky sack around and bang a few of your girlfriend's friends? That's fine. But then we need to do the work of whatever this tangible mechanical thing is. Homelessness. I'd like to imagine a world with no homeless. I'd like to imagine a world where every kid had access to world-class health care and world-class education. Yes, imagine buses powered by pixie dust who picked up your kid and took them to a shiny world-class institution for free, by the way, up on top of a gleaming hill. Like, But let's stop talking that way. Let's get some boots on the ground here and let's figure this one out. I blame John Lennon.
Yeah.
He got all these people to imagine things. And by definition, imagine, it just lives in your head.
Yeah.
She can imagine everyone. And by the way, she had this kind of mission accomplished thing, too, which she was like, did you guys you just imagine that, right? Yeah. Right? Done? All right. I'm eating lunch. We're done. All right. Dangerous. All the talk.
It's a dangerous
all
message.
The imagining. We need some actual fucking plans.
Well, that was crystallized in the celebrity Imagine singing, right? That it's manifesting itself as like that's why everyone hated it so much. Like, yes, you're doing nothing. You're as you say, jacking off into a ceiling fan.
Right.
Yeah, and even worse, while we're all cramped in our little apartments, please scamper around your palatial backyard and tell us to imagine.
All right, so Yoko also bought a bunch of billboards, Chris told me.
You are burning through my news, man.
Sorry, he just brought it up that said he could imagine peace.
Yeah.
So she's now spending her hard-earned money on billboards.
That's all it says?
Yeah.
By the way, I'm sure they're concentrated in Manhattan and San Francisco. We don't need to convert.
They are, actually.
Is this in Kyiv?
Well,
no.
This is the look. Is it in the ceiling of Putin's bunker in his bedroom? Because
it's really an audience of one.
That's my thing with the Prius with the coexist on it parked at the Erewhon in Santa Monica. Yeah. You've already converted this crowd. You need to head into the Middle East on this. Put a full charge on it. Get over to the Middle East and get those people to coexist.
Yes. You know who should I rarely say this, but Yoko should take a page out of Fox News' playbook, because how many times over the previous 4 years of the administration did they say, Mr. President, if you're listening, they're clearly, trying to get Trump to listen and do something. But by all means, go to the source. Put this in Moscow. Put it somewhere in Russia.
Well, it's going to do good where it's at because it's in Piccadilly Square in London, Times Square, San Francisco, and K-pop Square in Seoul, Korea.
She's doing the work.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll be fine. Every night at 8:22, this gets on the billboards.
Right. She's just squandering more of her dead husband's or boyfriend's money. But anyway.
Remember the bed-in?
Oh, yeah.
What a lazy honeymoon.
Yes. They went and stayed in bed for a week and invited.
Like hair piece, bed piece.
Invited, hair piece sounds weird, but.
I think that's what it was.
But invited reporters in. Problems in Vietnam were then officially solved.
Sweet.
All right, so that's what's going on in world news. Also, we got a Baldywood we got to get to too. Yeah.
Did anyone start Winning Time? We watched it last night.
Oh, I watched it last night. Yeah,
it's great, right?
I love it.
The way it's shot, it's very old school.
Is it great like great, or is it great like the OJ series?
I think it's great like great, not like great like Pam and Tommy great.
Okay.
That's its own brand of great.
Okay.
I think this is really good.
Well, I lived through it in the sense that I was in Los Angeles and the Forum. I, of course, never attended a Lakers game or anything, but just seeing the clothes and the music and the vibe, they nailed it. It was very interesting. They made Jerry West seem like an insane alcoholic,
fucking
biggest
crazy
douchebag, like partial racist in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, Jerry West,
a lot of heart.
He's still alive.
I wonder if he has thoughts about it.
He must have thoughts about this.
They do make him very angry. But it doesn't feel like a guilty pleasure show. It feels like a really good watch.
Yeah, it's interesting. So we shall be watching. Speaking of award shows, I was watching the Independent Spirit Awards on Sunday, and the best doc series won which was something called Black and Missing. It was about black
Let me guess.
kids. Yeah. Black and Missing. It wasn't about the dads who had abandoned their black families. It was about the kids who had been abducted and no one was doing anything about it. But it's Rotten Tomatoes is 100% with the critics and 40% with the audience.
Oh, boy.
That's a theme. But then I just told Chris to whack together. I was watching the acceptance speech, and in the name of progress, we're fucking up our country, and I'll let you hear the slightly edited acceptance speech. Soledad O'Brien and her partner up there accepting.
This is a really huge honor. We're up against friends and colleagues who we admire so much, so thank you. What makes this an even bigger honor is this is a woman-led team, and particularly run entirely directed and produced by majority BIPOC women, so black and brown women, and we're hoping to set an example here for what is so important. Our directors, some fierce black women and brown women as well.
I think this series proves that people care about these stories, and not just black people. All people care about the stories that are often ignored and go untold and undertold, because it's about the humanity of the people that you profile. And then, of course, make sure you have a diverse staff that actually executes on these stories. It is not magic. It's not. It's just deciding to hold yourself accountable to do that very thing.
A lot of black women black, all women, all BIPOC.
BIPOC.
Yeah, it's K-pop and BIPOC.
Yeah.
It's just too much for my old brain to really synthesize. But I don't know.
Figure out acronyms on the fly.
It's the nonstop discussion of race and gender and all that. Is that ease some of the tension? Are we living in a better, more harmonious place racially? Or are we just creating corrals for all different people? The whole plan was we didn't care what your sex or your ethnicity was or proclivities were sexually. We're just going to come together and unite and work together and prosper together. Deep stopping and creating categories for everyone to fit into just feels like a bunch of Legos versus the melting pot that
the fondue
we were promised, and
literally the melting pot
seemed to fly in the face of the great Dr. Martin Luther King as well, and is judged by the character, the content, or
content of their character.
Content of their character. You know the thing, man.
Yeah, corn pop.
Come on now. You know it. Yeah, so I just we do more of it every day. It's in the name of eradicating this thing, and then we get a little worse in the eradication of it. Yeah, but is it first off, is it well-intended or are they virtue signaling? Because I feel
isn't all virtue signaling
well-intended?
Yeah, right.
I was going to say they're chicken the egg situation.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, but I just think it feels kind of weird in 2022 that this is just what we talk about. Women of color, all women of color, directed by a woman of color. Her assistant was a woman of color. It's just weird, and it's almost an obsession. And much like imagining a bus that didn't burn diesel, it doesn't really get us anywhere, but it's a lot of talk, and it feels sort of, we're satiated. We discuss this.
I'm sure there's a ton of Office fans that listen to this show. That Kamala Harris speech was so Michael Scott. Now imagine a bus that is free of it. Well, you just did. So thank you, everybody. Like, that's a very Michael Scott thing to say.
Doesn't it seem inappropriate, which is a word I don't use very often, but it seems weird to deliver that in the middle of war-torn Ukraine, right?
Yeah.
Where everyone's gas is $6 a gallon. Everyone's freaking out over inflation. We're worried about nukes raining down on us. And she's talking about some imaginary future somewhere. It's just like, why that?
Tone deaf.
Well,
that only carries bread and milk.
Why are we doing that speech now?
Yeah.
Like, let's wait till the dust settles on Ukraine, and then we'll get some oil going, and then once gas gets down under $6 a gallon in California, then we'll trot that one out and
Yeah.
go, now it's time to reboot.
That shit's evergreen.
Yeah.
It's a little let 'em eat cakey if
Yeah,
you really kind of
yeah.
think about
There's
it.
blood in the streets of,
Right.
of many major cities in this world.
All right, shall we turn the page and get to the Baldywood?
Sure.
I'm interested.
Hooray for Baldywood. He will tell you if a movie's good. Bryan will review the flicks that he's seen up on the big screen or in his Netflix queue. Before you spend bucks, remember his taste sucks. He loved that train wreck piece of shit Transformers 2. Hooray for Baldywood.
The Batman is in theaters now. It is a 2022 film directed by Matt Reeves. He directed Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, War for the Planet of the Apes. He also directed Cloverfield. Yeah.
Action-packed.
There you go. Robert Pattinson as the titular Batman. Jeffrey Wright as Lieutenant Gordon. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. John Turturro, Colin Farrell, Andy Serkis, Peter Sarsgaard, Paul Dano as the Riddler. Although we already knew that, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, we all knew that. 86% of Rotten Tomatoes. I didn't get the of course I did. 89% audience score. So right
there.
B+.
plus.
In theaters now, I mentioned that. This is already the 69th highest ranked film on IMDb. It's got a little bit of hype behind it. Some of the fanboys, as they're called.
That's 7.3.
Yeah, I think it's like, I don't even know what it is, but whatever it is, it's the 69th highest rated film. And I normally don't mention, but $134 million at the box office. Second biggest opening since COVID started, behind Spider-Man Homecoming. This is a very dark movie. I would say 2% of the movie takes place in the sunlight. It's
Like literally dark.
It's literally
Not
dark.
the theme.
80% of the action takes place at night, and whatever little takes place during the daytime, it is in a dark setting. It is thematically dark. It's Batman.
Right.
It's the Dark Knight.
Right.
But it's a very dark film. I've never done this before, but I'm going to play a clip that is very visual. This is from the movie, but it's going to lead somewhere. This is the big car chase scene that everyone is talking about. And it is pretty spectacular. So it's a very good scene. Batman is chasing the Penguin, and he is, well, you'll see, he drives a muscle car in this movie.
I feel like you should be able to catch a penguin.
I got you!
Oh, he's got his own car. I get it now.
I got you!
Yeah.
Through the flames.
He's very road warrior.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a lot of prairie road to it. Now,
Like
I
that.
should have set this up, but could you guys guess who that actor is playing the Penguin?
No.
Put up the picture. That's Colin Farrell. Colin Farrell.
yeah.
They did a magnificent, really one of the best makeup prosthetic jobs I've ever seen. They turned hunky Colin Farrell into, a fairly deformed penguin.
That's better than what they did to Jared Leto in Gucci.
That's right.
Don't we have
Paolo Gucci.
don't we have ugly actors who can act?
They're the real victims here, right?
They are. This
Wait,
is
speaking of which, wasn't this a Danny DeVito vehicle at some point?
yes.
He was
We
the
got it- we
Penguin
had it
in
right.
the 1990s
Right.
sequel to
Right.
Batman.
During the heyday.
Yeah. Wow.
So that was a spectacular job. And the score, Kaylin, get this ready. So the score is very good by a guy named, I'm going to get this wrong here, Michael Giacchino.
He's done
very
everything.
famous.
Yeah.
He's on.
He won an Oscar for Up. He's been,
I think he
nominated
did
for
Lost.
He's done a lot of stuff. Very accomplished. This score is very well. Play the Batman score if you can. I kept listening to this and thinking, why are they playing Darth Vader's theme from Star Wars? Now play the one of the second one, the Star Wars one, for comparison.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking here, I'm like, I really cracked the case on this one. I'm
Similar.
going to blow this up. I get home, I'm doing my research, and Kaylin, play the third clip because nerds everywhere have, this soundtrack's been out for a few months. They've already mashed up the
course.
Star Wars and the Batman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ominous.
And you can hear they go very well together.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a good score, but reminded me of Star Wars. So problem number one with the movie: so many bad guys. So many bad guys. You got the Penguin, who was compelling and fun, and Colin Farrell hammed it up. You know, he saw him in there. I got you. That's how he has the whole movie. Then there's John Turturro as Carmine Falcone, right? He's kind of the mastermind. He's the crime boss. But I mean, he's always good. But I'm like, do we need this guy in the movie? Mm-hmm. And then you got the Riddler, and there's a whole other plot.
Star-studded.
It's a lot, and it's 3 hours. I mean, they give an hour to each villain.
I do hate when they, just as a money grab, they break a story in half and make you wait 2 years. But this seems like they could have saved a villain for next year.
That's
the sequel.
That's exactly what I was thinking, which is you got a lot of material here.
Yeah.
You got another movie's worth.
Does it do? I mean, I always loved Jaws because there was one shark, and Alien because there was one alien, and you could really fix all your anger and angst and fear on this one thing. Does it thin it out when there's three of them?
It does. So you can't help but compare these to the Christopher Nolan movies, right? That's just a natural comparison point for the Batman movies. And the movie you still haven't seen, The Dark Knight, with the Joker.
Amazing.
But
it's young.
But it's so good for so many reasons, but because all that evil is personified. There's still side characters or whatever, villains, but like that's the big bad, right? The big bad, not the big bads.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I don't even want to describe the plot of this movie because number one, I don't think I could. Number two, it's a Batman movie, right? He's trying to crack the case, the Riddler, and solve the riddles. And
Tell us this, because there's been 17 Batmen. Is this in the world of the last Batman? Is this a totally different Batman universe? Does this have anything to do with Christian Bale?
Okay, so no, it's not a continuation of those stories. Okay. But of course, it is in the Batman universe, right? And they play with some things like Batman's parents got. I don't know if you're aware, they got shot and killed in front of him when he was a child.
Yeah.
They thankfully don't go over that ground again. Yeah. However, now. I don't know if this has never been in a Batman movie as far as I know. Now his dad was killed while a political candidate running for mayor. He was killed during his mayoral campaign.
Why would you Okay.
I don't know. Maybe that's canon. I don't know. Chris saw the movie. Am I off on this one?
No, I've never heard of that exact arc either. But I mean, yeah, it's just a different version, but still has a lot of the same thematic elements.
But did you find it to be did both of you find it to be an exciting movie? Andy saw it and he loved it.
I thought it was okay. I prefer the Nolan Batman.
There's no
those
comparison.
are incredible.
For me, there's no comparison. This is for everything I have a problem with it. This is still a 3-star movie, like out of 5. It's still above average and good. It's just not great, and it's bloated. You know what I mean? It's long and it's an effort, and it's not fun. The Christopher Nolan movies had elements of the Joker was a compelling, magnetic character. You wanted to follow him into battle.
Yeah.
Whereas this movie is just it's a slog. No one's having fun. Everything's dark. Everyone's whispering. Put up the picture. Robert Pattinson is emo Batman. He is full on.
That's Edward Scissorhands.
He's ripped the mask off and he's got the hair and the makeup, of course, for under the cowl. Someone else made this comparison. Show the next picture. He is essentially My Chemical Romance.
My Chemical Romance. Yeah, it's. Well, I've been complaining about this for a long time. Maybe we've jumped the shark a little in the darkness of what used to be, Batman. When I was a kid, it was corny.
Yeah.
You know what
Pow,
I mean?
crash, bang.
Right. It was tongue in cheek, and then it got a little more serious. But at a certain point, when the sun never comes up and it never stops raining and everyone's speaking in that voice, at some point, is it like, could we have a little
levity?
Well, look, a little sweet to our savory, or is it just savory for 3 hours?
That's a very good observation because Batman by nature is dark. He's the Dark Knight, right? Like he's tormented by his past. His parents died, and now he takes out his anger. He's vengeance as a vigilante on the city. You got the darkness covered. There's no reason to pile on with all the other stuff. There was one more. Oh, I appreciate when a filmmaker takes a chance, right? Tries to reinvent something. You're like, all right, we know this, but let's try this. And in this movie, Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne, he's like a shut-in. He's agoraphobic. The couple of times he comes out in public, people are like, oh my God, it's Bruce Wayne, because he's famous, but he just stays in his house all the time. Bruce Wayne is a billionaire playboy. That's what's fun about him, right? His silliness, not silliness, his lack of seriousness contrasts against Batman, because then you'll be like, oh, it could never be Bruce Wayne.
Right.
He's like the male Paris Hilton, right?
And that was conveyed, I think, great with the Christian Bale stuff.
He was always he fell in the pool. Remember, like he was just an idiot. He was a billionaire idiot. And here he's like he's brooding, shut-in Batman. It's like that's not fun. I don't like this.
Yeah, so we've taken the emo thing and we probably went a little too far with it, and it's time to dial it back.
Yeah.
That said, it's a good movie. 3 hours is a commitment, man. If you can't hold your pee that long, maybe wait a few months for this to come on HBO or some shit. But it's good. It's just not great.
Yeah, that's why I always get the large Snapple. I don't have to hold it.
Hooray for Baldywood!
Have you guys seen, speaking of that, I've come across this in my walks and my travels, an inordinate amount of piss bottles that have been discarded.
In your
seen
neighborhood?
A lot of some neighborhoods I've been in, and just around where I see the bottle of piss, like they pissed on it, they put the cap on it, and they chucked it out of the window of the truck. Or whatever it is. It's not a homeless thing. I think they're just pissing on the ground.
No.
I have come across, well, not
how can you be sure it's piss?
I asked Mike August. He said definitely. That was him. It's not Chris, have you come across this?
Well, I didn't. Kalen's uploading it right now, but Kalen saw one on the side of the freeway right here.
Yeah, it's not a ton. It's just
God.
more. I've just seen a lot more than I used to see. I wonder.
We're animals, man.
We're animals. We're stuck in traffic, and everyone's got an energy drink in one hand and a Gatorade in the other. And I just wonder if there's constant hydration. When I was a kid, you just leave the house. You didn't have a bottle in your hand.
I wasn't going to mention it, but because it wasn't relevant to anything until now. At the end of the movie, I'm like, is there an after credits sequence? Because they're often, a scene or whatever in the middle of the credits. And I had to pee. It's 3 hours in plus 25 minutes of previews. I had to pee. And I have a friend who worked on the movie, who's a Oscar-winning editor. And I texted him, and I'm like, hey, man, is there an after-credits scene? Because I got to pee. He's like, go for it. No scene.
Matt Fondelier said he just saw one in his neighborhood in the last 2 weeks. Not a lot, but I never saw him, and now I do.
That's weird. Sucks.
And by the way, these aren't crazed homeless people.
Yeah, you just pee wherever.
People peeing wherever.
Yeah.
These are citizens who are peeing and then chucking it out the truck window. All right. Ralph Pezzullo is going to come in here and talk about all the stuff he writes about, the podcast, and all the inside looks at all the SEAL teams and the FBI and the CIA and all that. First, I'll tell you about Simply Safe. U.S. News, PC Magazine, and Popular Science all rank Simply Safe Home Security as the best security of 2021, and U.S. News just named it. They named Simply Safe the best home security of 2022. Why? Because it's a great product. Peel and stick, get it up and running in like 30 minutes. Batteries last up to 10 years. No drilling, no pulling wires. Protect every door, window, and room 24/7. Backed by the best professional monitoring in the business. Ready to dispatch police, firefighters, or EMTs. Less than $1 a day, and you set it up yourself. It's easy. No long-term contracts. Try it out for 60 days for free. Customize your home's perfect system in just a few minutes. You go to simplysafe.com/Adam and go there today. Get a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring. simplysafe.com/Adam. Well, New York Times bestselling author, journalist, and playwright Ralph Pezzullo is going to join us next.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Ace Man, I called a few weeks ago to press because I lost my job. Good news, I've had a new one, basically right the day after. I already got a promotion, and the way I got the promotion was by getting it on. I love you. Have a great day.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Ralph Pezzullo, author, New York Times best-selling author, there's journalist, playwright, got a podcast out as well, he's got a book out as well. We'll talk all about that. Good to see you again, Ralph.
Great to see you.
Wow. All right. Well, let's talk about the podcast. It's called The Heroes Behind Headlines.
Yes.
It features former FBI, CIA, Navy SEALs. I've never met a Navy SEAL I didn't like.
Yeah.
Number one, and
They're
Special
super
Forces
humble guys. Yeah, down to earth. Yeah.
Right. So whatever my personal wiring is, I hate Kamala Harris because she's imagining buses that don't exist, and then Navy SEAL guys are throwing grappling hooks on the side of Iranian freighters and climbing them up at midnight, and it's the most tangible job you can have as a Navy SEAL versus the campus head of diversity at the Ivy League school, which is an invisible job. Like you have to make enemies versus fighting actual human beings.
Right. Well, this is kind of the theme of the podcast. So it's talking to people who have actually done things, heroic things, been in the field, dealt with warfare and freeing hostages, not people who talk about it or the politics behind it. There's no politics. It's just, I did this. This is what I saw. This is what I encountered. This is what I took away from it. Draw your own conclusions,
The theme of this podcast is we talk to people who talk to people who've done stuff. That's why Ralph's here today.
That's kind of what I'm doing, too. Yeah.
What have you... well, we all know we love the SEALs and all those Green Berets and all that kind of stuff. FBI, CIA, what's going on in that world today?
Oh, boy.
Put a pot of coffee on. We got some stuff to talk about.
He asked the tough questions.
Well, it's there's a lot going on, a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. I think we're all reevaluating our world, and that's kind of the theme of the podcast. It's like you don't have to. You're not listening to people who are going to analyze it for you or tell you what to think. You're just going to listen to stories of people who have had amazing experiences. Like next week, I think our guest is a woman named Loretta Lyon, and she was a victim of sex trafficking in Kosovo in the mid-'90s. And her story, it's absolutely horrific. She was like a 17-year-old girl, daughter of a doctor, growing up in a nice upper middle class home, and then her world, turned upside down. Because she was Muslim, there was ethnic and religious cleansing going on, and it's just this incredible, horrible story, right? But she survived it, which is miraculous, and she's healed from it, and she's one of the few. I mean, there are a lot of victims of these kinds of crimes, but very few live to talk about it. And the people who do these kinds of things exploit situations like what we're seeing now in Ukraine. So they exploit warfare. They exploit refugee situations like what we have at the border. And people just don't realize these things. And when they hear it, it just sounds so horrific. Like we can't imagine, the kind of evil that other people do. But it exists, and we have to become aware of it.
I mean, it strikes me that what they exploit is chaos, which is kind of like if there's a situation where people are taken to the streets and protesting, the lion's share of the people will be down with the cause. And then there's a smaller group that goes, maybe we can get in that fucking army surplus store about now and steal some shit. You know what I mean? Like there's always that group.
We've seen that. We've seen that in our own country. I mean, there are people who have real grievances, who want to go out in the streets and protest or support whatever. And then there are the other people who come with helmets and body armor and bats, and they're up to something else. And a lot of, when you find out about them, a lot of them are being paid or, they have an agenda. They're exploiting a situation. So,
were there people here being paid? I mean, in the United States during, all the chaos of the last couple of years?
I would assume so.
And if so, how do you get paid for that? I've often wondered. I mean, people say, I was allowed to be paid to do this?
Yeah. Well, I don't think you go out into the streets like every night for what was it, like 2 months in Portland without like some kind of incentive, right?
Well, one would think that whether you're on the Portland side of things or the Canadian trucker side of the aisle,
right?
How do you afford as a trucker just to stop working for 3 weeks and camp your diesel, especially at $6 a gallon, just idling in the town square? And then if you're from Portland, how do you underwrite that?
Yeah.
So it makes sense there is something coming in.
Yeah, there are people who, going back to the human trafficking thing, I mean, there are people who exploit situations like this, right? So people have real grievances, and they use always fear. Like that's always the thing where they push our buttons with the fear. Like if you don't do this, you're going to die, or nuclear war could happen any second.
Here's a philosophical question.
Mm-hmm.
First off, I never imagined a future with this much human trafficking. You know what I mean? It feels kind of like a bygone era.
Throwback.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels throwbacky.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff that's going on now feels very throwbacky to me, like tanks invented in World War I, roll into the Ukraine. You know what I mean? It's all it has nothing to do with the Jetsons.
Yeah.
That's basically what I was picturing 2001.
Sure.
I mean, just a little experiment when you were 12 and I said 2022.
Oh my God.
You pictured you had a jetpack.
Of course.
Yeah.
The only thing
robots.
they got right was the watch that we could talk into.
Well, we should have jetpacks, I think. Yeah, they probably. I'm sure they exist, but we're not getting them.
Right.
Well, that's how the SEALs get on the boats now.
Yeah,
instead
that's true.
They're telling us to stay home, right?
Right.
Stay home, keep your mouth shut, be frightened, and do whatever we tell you to do.
The fear. I was yelling at my son last night at
Putting fear into
dinner.
him.
I was like, "Are you fuckers still wearing masks at school now?" And he's like, "Yeah, we have to." I was like, "We dropped the mandate." He's like, "We did." First off, boy, mission not accomplished in getting the word out.
Yeah.
They got the fucking word out. I had a guy from the government assigned to me to follow me around and tell me to get vaxxed and to put my mask on. But when it comes to dropping the mask, every human I've talked to is like, can we get into that Uber? I don't know.
No, nobody even understands what the rules are anymore. Yeah.
Right.
One store, they tell you don't need a mask. In another store, where's your mask?
I
It's
literally,
like, okay.
I was at a Starbucks and there was a long discussion about, can we allowed to go in there with something out of that? And then the Uber came and it's like, are we allowed? And it doesn't help that the Starbucks person and the Uber person are wearing masks.
Yeah.
So you're looking through the fucking window going, I think it's on. And then you walk in. Essentially, you remember those dreams you'd have where you're at school and you were naked in the hallway? It's like that same
People are
kind of like,
looking at you sideways.
what's going on?
Yeah.
I forgot my dog ate my homework.
And
My
they
dog ate
couldn't-
my mask.
They couldn't get enough radio messaging in when we were supposed to wear the mask. So where's the radio messaging that we can take it off?
Oh, yeah.
So-
very suspicious.
They're just
Very
scaring
suspicious.
the fuck out of
well,
everybody.
that's what they always do. That's what they always do.
Yeah, fear.
So the whole idea of the podcast is like, you're just hearing from people who actually did things and actually experienced things. Make up your, draw your own conclusions, make up your own mind. Because part of the problem is just the information control and the fact that, the information, these stories don't get to people. And so whenever I go and I speak to people, audiences and so on, they're always like, how do I find these things out? Because I've been lucky because of my background and, growing up as a son of a diplomat and so on and so forth. And, writing books with SEALs and ex-CIA agents and FBI agents and all that business. So, I'm privy to lots of kind of so-called inside information. But other people are just sitting there going like, what the hell's going on? I don't get these stories on mainstream media. And, where do I find this information?
Well, the CIA and the FBI, but we'll just take the CIA for a second.
Mm-hmm.
They've seemed to have turned some direction. And I was thinking about it. Because a year and, 15 months ago, whenever there was that whole Hunter Biden laptop story, right?
Yeah.
And the story was the guy at the repair shop gives it to Giuliani or whoever. It seemed a little dicey, but it also seemed like it's definitely his laptop, and that guy had it, and it had some fucked up shit on it.
So very
and it was very close to the election.
Yeah.
And so a bunch of guys from the CIA and the FBI and a bunch of national security guys, Brennan, top high-level guys, all signed a document, 50 of them saying, this is fake news. This is Russian fake news.
Right.
And that was it. They got the highest guys in the land.
Yeah.
And, it would be like, all the best real estate appraisers in your neighborhood just told you your house was worth $1 million, and they signed a document.
Right.
Now, they weren't basing it on anything.
No.
They just signed it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you got a reputation. You ran the CIA. Why are you signing this? You, of all people, would know, would go, wait a minute, who has the laptop? Is it real?
Right.
Is it Russian collusion?
Yeah.
They all just signed a document.
Right.
And then it went away because they went, I got a document.
It reminds me of during the 2016 election when Comey, remember when they said that they announced, first Comey announced, he said that they found like
more
500,000 more emails on Hillary's laptop. And then 2 weeks later, he said, there's nothing on them. Yeah. And it's like, how do you go through 500,000 emails in 2 weeks?
So why did all these people sign this document not having any proof of whether this was real or legit or Russian collusion or what it is? They just signed a document, and then Biden debated Trump, and Trump's like, what about your son and laptop? And he said, please, I got a piece of paper here with 50 prominent CIA, they've all signed off on it.
Right.
There's a little of that going on with COVID. Like, hey, come on, all these experts have told you to do this thing that's weird or wrong or not based on.
Right.
Like, my thing is, why aren't you agnostic?
Yes.
If I'm the head of something and someone comes to me and goes, I want you to sign this document saying this thing's false, I go, well, what is it?
Is it?
Do we have it?
Yeah.
Can I look at it?
I think the lesson is that, we're learning more and more you can't trust these people. So you have to do your own thinking, your own research.
But
they have an agenda. I don't know exactly what it is. I mean, we could get into that and debate that, but there are a lot of people with agendas, and unless you've experienced it yourself, unless you've seen it, unless you've gone through, and I mean, the question that those people should have been asked is, have you seen the laptop? So you've been through everything on the laptop, and you can tell us categorically that, all of this came from Russia. You have the proof that this comes from Russia, and that never happens because we don't have, investigative journalists like we used to, who do that kind of critical research that needs to be done and ask those critical questions.
It's really, it's the press, but it also, it's the pressing.
It is depressing.
because you think of these people as umpires at a Little League game, and your son's playing in it, and they're just calling balls and strikes, and he's an expert umpire, and you start to go, what is this theme, this pattern emerging?
Where's the oversight?
Scary to me.
It is a scary thing, and it all points to the same thing: is that information is key to preserving freedom, right? If we can't get the information to form our own opinions about things and informed opinions about things, we're dependent on other people. So, whether you're talking about Ukraine or whether you're talking about COVID or whatever it is, if you're just depending on experts giving us information, we can be led in whatever direction they want to lead us.
Look, if here's the problem. Yeah. There's experts. There's experts. I'm an expert builder.
Yeah.
There's no version of swinging a door where I go, put all the hinges at the top and none at the bottom. But I'm an expert. Like, back off. You can drag that door around for the rest of your life. Like, I'm an expert builder. It's mechanical. I can tell you how to do it. It'll make sense to you.
Yes.
And there's only one way to do it. Then there's another kind of expert. That's the kind of expert that Mark Garagos hires to come into the courtroom and explain that the woman with the missing head did it herself.
Right.
That's his kind of expert, right? Now, I thought the CIA guys were just me expert telling you how to build your house.
Right.
Or Comey or whoever it is. I didn't know it was Mark Garagos' expert who's going to come in and put their own flavor on everything.
Right. Well, I would say that there's a big difference. I think that's a great point. I think there's a big difference between sort of the the policymakers who tend to be more have more of a political agenda to things, rather than the guys on the ground who just do things. And that's why this podcast is focused on men and women on the ground who actually experienced things and said, like, this was my experience. There's no real politics involved, or I'm not trying to lead you anywhere with this. I'm just telling you, this is what I did. This is my job. They sent me out to do this, and this is what I did.
Gina's got a question. I just want to put Chris onto something. That ivermectin article and then that NPR Joe Rogan ivermectin thing that I told Gary to pull up or whatever. You know, to me, the press needs to do a little bit of a better job in their investigations of things, because I was, and especially if it's about things that should fall under the heading of the middle, such as, I get what, there's Fox over here, there's CNN over there. They're going to have dramatically different takes on AOC.
Right.
That's fine. They got a lot of pundits and opinions and pundits. But
they're more entertainment than news anyway.
Right. But when it comes to COVID, I would like the press to give us the straight dope on what the fuck is going on.
Right.
Ages of people are dying. Does it affect 14-year-old boys?
Right.
The health, pre-existing conditions, vaccine, and how durable they are versus natural. I mean, I don't want you guys to be shaping a narrative in the middle stuff, or it could be Ukraine. You know, there's certain things. This is the problem. This isn't AOC wearing a fucking gown saying tax the rich and your separate takes on that. This is fucking COVID.
Right.
And when a report came out just 10 minutes ago that said ivermectin did appear to be effective in terms of, it was a big report saying it turned out it actually works, you know? Well, gee.
What a surprise.
And then I was looking at this, Dr. Drew sent it to me. I was like, they did a big study and it turned out to be effective, or more effective than other things. And then I started thinking, remember 10 minutes ago when they were destroying Joe Rogan for eating horse paste?
Yeah.
And I just went and looked, and I found this article that NPR put out, and just listen to how fucking disingenuous this is, and how it's sort of the opposite of reporting. This is from several months or a couple months ago.
From September 1st. Joe Rogan says he has COVID-19 and has taken the drug ivermectin. Joe Rogan, the mega popular podcast host who has suggested that young, fit people don't need to get the COVID-19 vaccine, has announced he has tested positive for the virus, but is feeling fine thanks to a cocktail of unproven medical treatments. In an Instagram video...
Well, first off, he's feeling fine, so maybe something worked.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
The 54-year-old host of the Joe Rogan Experience said he felt very weary on Saturday and got tested for the coronavirus the following day. Throughout the night, I got fevers, sweats, and I knew what was going on, Rogan has told his 13.1 million followers. After the diagnosis, he said he immediately threw the kitchen sink at it. His methods included taking ivermectin, a deworming veterinary drug that is formulated for use in cows and horses.
Okay. Dr. Drew, the CDC says if you come into this country from X amount, there's Sudan and there's Nicaragua, you must get ivermectin.
Yes.
You can't come into this country.
It's been used for decades, yes. As not on humans, not just on horses.
I gave my fucking dog a Pepsi AC before he goes to bed because he gets a bad tummy. That doesn't mean it has to be slapped out of my hand.
Right. Right.
I said out a meme. I said, this is a brush for my daughter. This is a brush for a horse.
Yeah.
They're both brushes.
No. Right.
Can we wrap our minds? Can we even... They couldn't wrap their mind around a medication that had an animal application and a human application with thousands of medications.
Have they never heard of ketamine?
Oh, don't tell them mane and tail.
That's right. The shampoo. Sorry. Read the last line and then keep going. Sorry. Here's where, again, just report.
Yeah.
We're not talking about AOC's prom dress.
Right.
His methods included taking ivermectin, a deworming veterinary drug that is formulated for use in cows and horses. while a version of the drug is sometimes prescribed for people for head lice or skin conditions.
Yes, all the time.
The formula for animal use is much more concentrated. The Food and Drug Administration is urging people to stop it.
He didn't take the animal version, you fucking retards.
Right.
Stop tying it back to that. Like, because a horse weighs 1,300 pounds and Joe Rogan's 175. So
you could say the same thing about an asprin. You can give it to a horse.
Why is this news? Why is this reporting?
Right.
Why? And by the way, do you have copy editors? Like, what the fuck are you saying?
Yeah. Well, to switch to my book, to bring it into it, I started to experience this phenomena when I was a kid. I was 12 years old. I was living in Vietnam during the war. My dad was a diplomat. Because I was 12 years old and I was a curious, rambunctious kid, it was very dangerous to be there. Very few people, military and State Department people had their families with them.
What year? I'm sorry.
This is 1963.
Oh, boy.
So I was out. I actually got a job at the embassy maintenance shop, working with 40 Vietnamese laborers, fixing houses and painting and so on and so forth, because the embassy maintained a lot of homes in Saigon. And also, I was the bat boy for the Special Forces softball team. Right.
Nice.
So I'm dealing with these guys, and I'm like their mascot. I'm grabbing the bat, and the helmet and so on. And I'm dealing with these guys who are out fighting with the Montagnards up in the highlands where the big fighting was in those days. And I'd come home and I'd talk to them when we sat around after the game, eating hamburgers and drinking sodas, and they were drinking beer. And I'd say well, what's it like? And they go, it's bizarre, man. It's not a war. This isn't a war. These people don't even know what the hell we're doing here. They don't know who our president is. They don't know who Ho Chi Minh is. They just want to they live in their little village. They want to be left alone. I'd go home and tell this to my father, who worked at the embassy, and he'd go, well, Ralph, those guys don't know what they're talking about. Those are communists. I'm like, Dad, we're here. We're in Saigon. They're up there fighting. How could they not know what's going on? And he will go, well, I don't know, but they don't know.
Wow.
And this is the analysis, right, that was being done by the embassy, that was being sent to Washington, and then, packaged by the press and sent out to the American people. Like, we're fighting this huge communist insurgency in Vietnam.
Do you think your dad was naive, or do you think he was, or do you think it was something else?
I think he was. It was.
Or was he a company man who couldn't believe this could be true?
It's part of both. I think part of it was a lot of these people are well-intentioned, but they're also part of an organization, and you kind of, in order to survive in that organization and to thrive, you kind of know what the people above you want to hear, right? And so you go along with that. Right. And when some kid comes along and goes, Dad, tell them that they're wrong, the answer to me was shut up.
Yeah,
you don't know what you're talking about, right?
So how much of this, I'll bring it back to COVID, how much of this is industrial war complex?
Yep, a lot.
And how much of this is big pharma? Because comically or coincidentally, everything that was almost free was immediately stomped on.
Right.
Any medication, any therapeutic that didn't make Big Pharma a bunch of money was just, it was tinfoil hat, conspiracy.
Right.
Again,
people
weren't agnostic. They were like, I don't know, try it. Maybe ivermectin
Nobel
works.
Prize winners were being censored.
Right.
We're not being allowed on CNN. We're taken off of YouTube. And it's like, I'm sorry, but we live in a free country. I might disagree with him, but I want to hear what he says. He won a Nobel Prize in epidemiology. I think he knows something, right?
Yeah, the guy came up with ivermectin.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, this recent study was that ivermectin, which is practically free, was much more effective than remdesivir or whatever, the thing that did cost a lot. So why?
I had friends who were going to Mexico and getting it.
Right. So why coincidentally was all the free cheap shit stomped out by the press and everyone else? And then are they working together?
I think they're, they have a different agenda than we do. Their agenda is, making money for themselves. having more control over us.
Well, I get what Big Pharma's plan is. They want to sell the expensive shit and not have, and then the cheap shit, we're just going to render that ineffective. Right. That's what they want to do.
Sure.
How did they sign up so many Confederates? How did they get the rest of us to go along?
They have a lot. I think they're the biggest advertiser. They spend more advertising money than any group in the country.
That is true.
But now I actually had this in the news that Biden is giving out basically to pharmacies Paxlovid, which is an antiviral. So now you can get it for free if you show symptoms or if you test positive. Grab yourself an antiviral. Like it's all like it's like ivermectin never happened.
And we can get it for free, but somebody's paying for it.
We're paying for it. Of course, we're paying for it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
It started.
No, people have to take agency for themselves. Like they have to do their own questioning, critical thinking, and not just believe what they're told, what they hear. Because otherwise we're all going to end up locked up in our homes and with 5 masks on our face and afraid of atomic bombs, raining on us at any minute.
I'll tell you what people need to do, and I've talked about this, is you need to study patterns. Yeah. And then once you study a pattern, you'll get a conclusion. So it's like if you broke down in a car and you had a flat tire, let's say you had a flat tire, and you said to the guy, all right, I'm going to go around back, pop the trunk. I'm going to get the scissor jack, get this replaced. And he went, I took the jack out before we left for the road trip. And he went, oh, that seems weird. Well, just pop the trunk. Let me have just trust me. I took the jack out of there. And I went, oh, okay, fine. Why don't you pull up to this berm here? We'll see if we can get the rear wheel up in the air, and I'll break it loose. And he threw the keys out of the window and went, well, wait a minute. You want to fix this? Oh, yeah. I want to fix a flat more than anybody. And you go, oh, okay.
Really? Yeah,
well, how about I call AAA? No cell service here. And it's like, at a certain point, you have to recognize a pattern. And the pattern is this person is saying, I want this. Yeah. But poo-pooing every idea I have to remedy it. And that's the way I felt about COVID. Like, they would go, we got to put an end to this. And they'd go, oh, good news. And they'd go, not good news.
I think it applies to a lot of things that have happened in our lives. We've had one war after another. They've told us, oh, my God, if we don't do this, like the world's going to end. Remember ISIS?
Sure.
Remember Saddam Hussein? He had all these weapons of mass destruction.
Right.
We invaded Iraq it cost us trillions of dollars, and they got there. There was nothing.
Well, the color threat chart's a great example of keep them scared, keep them confused. Remember the threat levels on an orange today. It's like, I don't know what the fuck that means.
Right. It was the same thing for COVID. Right. Remember the colors?
So we're sitting here going, it's like rope-a-dope. We're just getting pounded, left and right. The fear changes every day. As soon as COVID was over, suddenly Ukraine showed up, right? And when that's over, something else is going to pop up. They're just bombarding us with fear to motivate us to do whatever we're being manipulated. And we were back when I was a kid, when I was in Vietnam, where there was a government in power, which was the Diem government in Vietnam, South Vietnam, and our military didn't like them because President Diem wanted to negotiate with the Viet Cong, and it was considered it all like a nationalist movement, and we can work this out. And President Kennedy was about ready to, sign the order telling us to get out of Vietnam before 2 weeks before he was killed. But the military and the people behind them, the military-industrial complex that Eisenhower warned us about, they had a different agenda. And there we go. We're in Vietnam. We're in a country halfway around the world where we don't speak the language. We don't know the culture. Half the time, most of the people there the soldiers there were, it was sad. It was tragic. They didn't even know why they were there. I thought the movie Deer Hunter, I don't know if you probably remember it.
Sure.
It captured that like so well. These guys are at a wedding and suddenly they're halfway around the world with blowtorches, right?
People forget about Deer Hunter is there's an hour and a half of wedding and then boom, they're in the middle of a firefight.
It's amazing. It's friggin' amazing because you felt what these guys before we were all buddies at a wedding getting drunk and having fun, and now we're here. And then they get captured. I mean, it's horror. But we do this over and over again. And it's like, well, what are we doing? Why? The American people, is this really what we want?
Well, it's, I think what it is.
Do we want to live in fear? Do we want to be constantly manipulated all the time?
No. Well, look, I mean, the answer is sort of yes and no, because everything is fear-based.
Well, they're doing it within our own society now, right? You were just talking about it, right? They're dividing people, right? Yeah. We had a guy on our podcast, Fred Reynolds, who was he was the chief of detectives of the Compton Police Force. He had started as a black gangbanger in Detroit, and he became one of the most decorated police officers in California history. Incredible guy, and he can talk to, racism and what it's like to be in the police and so on and so forth. But it's not what you hear.
No,
it's not what they tell us. That all the police are out there. Be careful. They're all secretly harbor in their hearts. They're evil people, and so what? We get rid of the police and okay, where are we?
We just got done saying that white supremacists was the number one terrorist group this country faces. I mean, that's crazy. Now the theme.
I have an aunt, and she's super liberal into all this stuff. And one day I was with her, and we were talking about white supremacists, and she was saying that the U.S. Nazi Party, it's huge, it's expanding all over the place. I said, well, let's go on Google and look up how many members there are. It was something like, it wasn't even 1,000. It wasn't that many.
No, I
said,
know.
How many people consider themselves to be white supremacists? It was not it was a couple thousand people. It wasn't a big number. But these things get blown up and thrown at us constantly, and most people get all their information through the TV because they don't go out into the world, because part of the reasons that they don't go out into the world is because they're afraid.
Sure.
Right? Like if you go here, you're going to get mugged. Right. If you go there, your car's going to get jacked. If you go to this country, watch out. You don't want to go there. And
the fear is an epidemic.
It's an epidemic.
It cripples. The most insidious part is taking kids and indoctrinating them into this sort of fear-based nation because you're ruining the kids' fucking childhood.
Right. Yeah.
And
no, they're afraid. They're afraid to breathe the air. I mean, what the hell?
Somebody said there was an article in a Seattle school where they went, no more masks, and the Seattle school went, oh yes, we're keeping these masks going. Like, all right, then keep the fear going.
Right.
And once you keep the fear going, then you can justify all your dictates.
Then you can justify whatever. It's a tactic that's been used historically, right? And it's really just to oppress people.
All right. Well, we have Harland Williams waiting in the wings. So let me just hit Master Spas here. Considering a backyard makeover, wish you had room for a pool. Get a Michael Phelps swim spa by Master Spas. Combines the benefits of a pool with the therapy of a hot tub. Has the water current running so you can swim against it. So it's like having a lap pool and do the aquatic exercises. Have fun with the kids. Comes in a variety of sizes that complement any backyard size, even a small backyard. Since it's heated, you can use it year-round in any climate. 100% made in the USA by Master Spas, the world's largest swim spa manufacturer. You'll love it. You'll love your Michael Phelps swim spa by Master Spa. So get in it and start enjoying yourself today, right, Dawson?
Go to masterspas.com, put in the promo code Adam to save $1,000 on a Michael Phelps swim spa or $500 on a Master Spas hot tub. That's masterspas.com, promo code Adam.
I should mention that voice, Dawson, did the audiobooks for Left of Boom and Ghost, and is there a third?
I'm doing Saigon right now.
Doing Saigon right now.
Right here. Yep.
Good on you. Glad you guys were able to make that connection. Heroes Behind Headlines is the podcast, and you can listen to it wherever you listen to finer podcasts. And Saigon is available now as we speak on Amazon. Ralph Pezzullo, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Adam. Thank you, Gina. Thank you, Brian. It's a pleasure.
Always a pleasure and informative. Harland Williams in studio right after this.
The Adam Carolla Show presents Harland Williams' birthday cocktail party for November 14th. Let's see who's invited. we welcome the former King of England, Scotland, and Ireland, William III. The inventor of the first commercial steamboat, Robert Fulton. Let's welcome French Impressionist painter, Claude Monet. The American politician who claimed communists have infiltrated the U.S. government, Joseph McCarthy. Buckwheat Zydeco is here. So is Prince Charles. From Styx, James J.Y. Young. And the list goes on with Stephen Bishop, Pink Floyd's audio engineer, James Guthrie, Condoleezza Rice, Patrick Warburton, Travis Barker is here, and here to tell the story of a lovely lady, the creator of the Brady Bunch, Sherwood Schwartz. Harland Williams is on the Adam Carolla Show.
Wow. Fulton, the man who created the steamboat, is on that list.
Yeah. He left out one very important guy, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Really?
Yeah, the 14th. Not really, but I thought I'd throw it in as a treat, as a teaser.
Harlan's got some live
human
dates
leg eater
coming up.
Yeah.
Corpus Christi, Texas. That's coming up this Friday, Saturday. Mesquite Street Comedy Club.
Yeah.
And then, Santan Brewing Company. That'll be in Phoenix, Arizona. That sounds like a fun place. And for more dates, you can go to harlandwilliams.com. I have this recollection. Something popped in my head with Fulton.
Okay.
The steamboat guy. There was something called Fulton's Follies. Like they thought that was folly. Like, oh, you're never going to replace a sail with a steam engine.
Right.
And then I thought about, like, that was a big time insult. Fulton's Follies.
Wow.
He's working on a steamboat. And now we'd go, Fulton, that guy's a douche fuck. You fuck my, yeah, fuck that douche.
Like Fulton.
It'd be fuck Follies. No more Follies.
Fulton's also the name of a small town not too far from here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I lost my virginity there.
Did you?
Yeah, three times, actually.
You can't lose your... It's
I
not like
have.
a wallet.
Well, talk to my gynecologist. I mean, that's why I walk like a crab and you don't.
You got a book out?
Yeah, I have my book. Look, Crave.
A collection of short stories by Harland Williams.
Look at that.
That was upsetting.
Where did that come from? How did that?
I've started writing. Yeah, you want to see it? I've started writing short stories, and that's my second book. The first one was called "Don't Look Under the Bed," and this one just came out. It's called Crave, and there's a zombie story in there, and there's a story about suicide, and there's a story about an animal sanctuary.
Oh.
When did this dark side creep out of Harland Williams?
It's always been there. We all have it. You have it too, friend. Put down the lollipop and the cinnamon gums and start murdering, friend.
I don't have the obsession. I know Gina probably likes the true crime
I like
stuff.
a little true crime.
Is it all Schadenfreude? First off, do we need to scare ourselves anymore? Russia's going to launch a nuclear attack. There's a new strain of COVID around the next corner.
That's true.
Yeah, but that's real stuff.
Yeah.
I write about stuff that's imaginary, even though it's scary. It's not real.
What do you like in the horror genre? Then, what movies do you like? What series do you like?
I like that movie, The Ring. Because I like more than slasher stuff. I like visual stuff, like things you'd see in your nightmare, like a horse with its eye rolling back in its head, or a fly crawling on a TV screen, or a burning tree.
More disturbing.
Yeah,
than
like just
gore.
that kind of night.
Yeah.
And speaking of The Ring, you want to hear a horror story? Have you ever had a one-night stand, you guys?
Oh, yeah,
I can imagine.
sure.
Okay, so I had one at the Motel 6 in Bakersfield about 2 nights ago, and I was with this girl. She was a little bit heavy. But kinky as hell, Adam. We were there naked in the room. And by the way, before I tell the story, just so you know, she only had one arm. But in my head, I was like, I got a real 50-50 shot at least getting a hand job here tonight. But we were there naked, and this kinkosaurus, this chick was kinky. And she, again, I'm going to say she was a little heavy. She had a muffin top on her forehead.
Wow, that's heavy.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah, she was a little chubby. And this is what happened. She got kinky, and she had a hair straightener there. So we're standing there in the nude, and this nut job, she gets her hair straightener, and you know how your pubes are all curled
story,
up?
right?
This is true. Bakersfield and Fresno, you can see the video if you call them. But you know how your pubes are curly?
Yeah.
So this chick got a hair straightener. She straightened my pubes all the way down to my knees.
Oh
Okay,
my
they're
God.
hanging flat. And I go, "What the hell are you doing?" And she goes, "Have you seen the movie The Ring, where the girl crawls out of the well with the hair over her eyes?" And I said, "I sure have." She goes, "Go take a look in the mirror. It looks like she's eating a hot dog."
Oh my God.
Wow. That got her off.
I guess.
Wow. Kinkosaurus is right.
I know.
Kinkosaurus, yeah.
That may have been a true story,
Yeah.
but my Ring story is 100% true.
Oh, God, tell me, because it's
What?
one of my favorite movies.
Year of the Ring, I'm picturing the house I was in. Must have been 98, 99.
Yeah, that's
I
about
thought
right.
it was like 0102, but it's
That's
in
right,
in
too.
that-
Could
That's
have.
you're
They're
both
all-
right.
Everyone's right.
Yeah.
2002.
I was
That's
in this
right, you're
house
correct.
from like
Hold on,
90.
say it again.
2002.
That's right.
I was in the
75.
house from like 97 to 2004. So
Okay.
it happened when I was in this
Oh, God.
house in the Hollywood Hills.
Oh, God,
Living
here
alone.
we go.
Built in 1923, kind of a spooky old house.
Creepy.
And my bedroom was upstairs, and then
Well, most of them are, Adam, in
you're
every
right.
house.
They're
Yeah.
rarely in the basement.
So that part's not scary.
Step down living room.
Oh, God. Wow.
Sunken.
Okay. That's a little off. Now I'm getting chills.
And
I got goosebumps on my nipples.
I saw The Ring in the theater.
Oh, boy.
And went to bed that night.
Oh, Jesus. Here it comes.
And probably about 3:30 in the morning.
Oh, Christ.
Just laying there alone in my old creepy house in the Hollywood Hills, and I just started hearing, "Housemaid, God, it's this voice like screaming.
I don't like that.
Big, deep male voice.
Oh, God.
And it was so loud.
Was there a priest at the end of your bed?
It
God
had
is in this holy
had,
temple?
Had the sound of a holy roller from
Oh, boy.
And I was just laying in bed. I was just saying, "Rawr, rawr, 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 rawr." And I was like, "Is someone in the house?" But then it sounded like it didn't sound like guys talking in the house. It was amplified, you know. I was, where is this coming from?
God.
And the story of The Ring, that was with the TV set, and you had to play the
You watch the video and the phone rings.
Right,
10 days or whatever it is. With you, it'd probably be longer because you got crazy
procrastinator.
hammerhead shark eyes.
I leave my bedroom like I'm like tiptoeing,
Oh,
and
God.
there's a staircase that just leads down into the entry hall and the
It's almost
step-down
like 'Twas
living
the
room.
Night Before Christmas.
Yes, I
I'm
had a
picturing you
candle.
tiptoeing with your little curly
You
shoes
threw
and your
up the
green
sash.
leotards. Yeah.
And and the house is pitch black, but I can see
Gracious.
lights like kind
Flicker.
of flickering
Yeah.
in the living room, and this voice is getting louder and
Oh,
louder,
God.
and I'm creeping down the stairs, and I'm like, "What?
Merry Christmas.
It's flickering, flickering. And what it was is I mounted a TV set up on the wall,
That's gotta hurt.
which is I could see the TV if I went to the living room to the end and then turned around and faced the stairs. It was up on the ceiling above the opening. And I'd do it because I would skip rope at night and I'd watch TV back on this monitor. Now,
Lord.
what had happened in was an insane fucked up coincidence is it was a shitty first gen flat panel TV, and the way it worked is if the power went out, even if the TV was off, if the power went out and then came back on, the TV would come back on.
Right.
Horrible design. And the volume was turned up to 40 because I would skip rope and try to hear the TV. It's like, whoosh, you couldn't hear it. You had to
Whoa.
blast all the way up. It's a hardwood, vaulted ceiling, hardwood floors. And so
Perfect.
it was a TV that was up to 50. It was 3:30 in the morning. It came on because the power went off and popped back on.
Ouch.
And then there was some fire and brimstone preacher who was yelling like
Middle
a
of the
thing.
night, yeah,
and it was
public
coming
access.
from the TV. And it was like this whole thing started in the TV set thing is flickering. And I'm like, I didn't, should I turn and look at the TV
No!
set?
No.
Turn away.
And I didn't know the fucking thing was set so that why was the TV on? See,
Yeah.
in my mind, the TV came on like it did in the movie in
Right.
the middle of the night. It was
But I had a heart
just
attack.
weird. If it happened a couple days later, I wouldn't have been top of mind. I literally saw it in the theater.
I
and then
think
sat
the scariest part of that story is picturing you skipping.
there. Skipping rope.
Yeah, like jump rope.
Yeah.
Not to my Lou.
I know, but just you skipping is very unsettling to me. That's actually probably an image that is in the Ring movie somewhere.
It's interesting that skipping as a form of transportation is about the gayest move you can do, but skipping rope,
right?
Macho.
Oh, prancing's fun. Sometimes I do that out in the wheat before I start my day.
Will you go prance in the wheat?
I'll prance in the wheat, but I like to skip at night because you're right. People don't like to see it. So I go to the Glendale Galleria at night and put on my green leotards and my curly elf shoes and skip through. And I was there the other night and the moon was just rising up through the Armenian mist. And all of a sudden, there's one vehicle in the empty parking lot. A white van over in the corner with a teardrop window in the back. Remember in the 70s, they had the teardrop. And I'm skipping around this parking lot. No one's the wiser. I'm getting my cardio in. And all of a sudden, I skip by the white van. The side door slides open. 12 priests pull me in.
Oh, my God.
And I wake up when the sun comes up in the parking lot, mayonnaise all over my legs.
Was that mayonnaise?
It was mayonnaise, yeah. And
True
relish
story?
on my abdomen. Yeah.
Speaking of relish, I think there's some embellishment going on here, Harlan.
Well, what? Why don't you take a bus all the way to fuck off town and get off real deep?
You have a picture of this one-armed concubine?
Man, she was chubby. When we got naked, I'm going to tell you this. Girls have tattoos, and she had a tattoo. I go, on her stomach. I go, why do you have a tattoo of the Monster Energy drink logo on your stomach? And she goes, those are my stretch marks, asshole. Unbelievable.
Have
you heard of Lyme disease?
Picture. Yeah.
This chick had key lime pie disease.
She was that
I'm
fat.
not look at. She was a little chubby.
Wow.
Yeah. But,
Ivermectin will clear it up.
Yeah. I heard Harlan tell this story when we did a gig together 2 months ago at some rich guy's party.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, we did some rich guy's party.
Listen, first off, I would never be so rich that a rich guy couldn't go, come to my party, I'll give you thousands of dollars, and you get a free steak.
Yeah. And it was so funny because this guy hired every celebrity lookalike.
Impersonator.
So we're sitting in the back eating shrimp and steak with Billy Idol, Jack Nicholson, and Tom Cruise.
That's very
and Britney
true.
Spears. So it was a whole table of them. They weren't impressionists. They looked like these celebrities.
The thing that
was bizarre.
I'll tell you the thing.
It was like the ring there.
I'm glad you brought that up, Harlan.
You're very welcome.
The thing that's interesting about the impersonators, first off, Jack Nicholson was from, or Nicholas was, or Nicholson, sorry, was from, it's Jack circa 1989.
I was going to say, is it classic Jack or is it dementia-riddled Jack?
It is Jack from, when he played an astronaut in Terms of Endearment or whatever whatever that one was.
Which is Eastwick Jack.
Yeah, Witches of Eastwick. So it's Jack from 37 years ago, which is a little weird.
With the black glasses.
Right, but the thing that's funny is you're used to passing them in the party.
Right.
You've been to a party and they've had the guy's a Howard Stern impersonator or whatever. And then there's take a picture with the guy who looks just like Tom Cruise, Top Gun Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
But at some point when you're sitting at a table, you're now sitting at a table with these people.
Right.
And you're having discussions with them and you're asking the Tom Cruise guys, what's going on with our readiness, our military, in terms of the aviation stuff, right now. There's a party that thinks you're talking to the guy from that movie. And it's also weird because you have nothing to discuss with these people. They simply, the guy looks like Billy Idol.
Right.
That's it.
Sort of looks like
I
him.
don't know if this has ever been done, but I have a pitch for you. For Seth MacFarlane. Now, if Seth brings back the Christmas party, and if you're lucky enough to be invited, here's what Seth, he wants to take it to the next level. He's had the band. He's done the singing. You want to take it to the next level?
Seth MacFarlane's Christmas party.
You want to go legendary status? You got A-listers there. You got Ashton and Mila and who knows, Matt and Ben. Who knows who's there?
I've talked to Sean Penn there.
Yes.
and Sacha Baron Cohen
That's
and
perfect.
Albert Brooks. I've talked to them all there.
You want to take it to the
Bill
next level?
Maher.
For about 8 or 10 of the celebrities, hire a double. Hire the impersonators, walk around the party. You got Sean Penn, the real one, and fake Spicoli over here.
Right.
How epic would that be?
That would be good.
That'd be fucking awesome.
I probably wouldn't match your enthusiasm level, but it would be good. It would be
real
good.
What
Real
about
good.
hiring the celebrity lookalikes, but when they were ailing? Like, Patrick Swayze in the
the
third
end.
stage
Oh, no.
of, that's
But also,
morbid,
Harlan, as we're sitting at this table trying to enjoy our meat,
Sure.
we're sitting at the celebrity table because
Quote,
we are
unquote.
hired to entertain.
The entertainment.
You were born looking kind of like Tom Cruise. Why aren't you with General Pop out there? By the way, shake your moneymaker a little. I did a 15-minute
Yeah,
set. I'm
what's Britney
done.
gonna
Your
do?
job is not ended.
Well,
Right.
what's really bizarre is the people at the party are taking pictures with these celebrities as these lookalikes as if they're the real guy. You get that stupid glow on your face, like, hey, I'm with Tom Cruise, but it's a guy from Temecula who works at the deli during the day,
yeah,
and he smells like yeast. I could smell yeast on him, on the Tom Cruise guy.
Yeah,
I smell
little
yeast.
yeasty.
Yeah.
And then also, I'm talking to Billy Idol about music.
I know, it's
He's like, I'm a welder.
Well, this Billy Idol does cover Billy Idol
course he does.
songs,
At least.
I think.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
And then I forgot there was a Britney Spears.
Britney
there?
one came in near the end,
Did
and
they-
it was like Krispy Kreme Britney.
Oh.
Yeah, she was might have been the girl from Bakersfield.
The
by the way.
Kinkosaurus?
Yeah, could have been.
Did they have to stay in character while they were talking to you? Like
No.
at dinner?
No.
No, but Tom Cruise was pretty much Tom Cruise.
Well, that's the thing. They get so wrapped up in it that I think they kind of lose their personalities
the
because if
line
you talk
blurs.
to Johnny Bingo Balls, the welder, he knows you're going to start tuning out in about 4 minutes. But if you keep the whole illusion that you're actually Tom Cruise, they can keep you engaged a bit longer. They've learned that. And so they kind of become chameleons and become these people.
Yeah.
It's almost like a horror story in itself.
I'm still imagining the potential of Christmas.
It's good potential.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about Johnny Bingo Balls.
Oh, God, the noises they make when the wind picks up. Oh,
There was Alonzo Bowden was there.
Alonzo was there. He should have punched a few of them through the wall. He's about 9 feet tall. And hi, I'm Tom Cruise. Just punch him through the wall like the Hulk hitting Thor.
It was funny, all sitting at the celebrity table, the impersonators.
It was
and then-
weird just to watch them eat too. I've never seen Billy Idol suck a jumbo shrimp like that.
Yeah, he was really going at the
Oh,
shrimp.
God,
well,
just
for them, the
slurping
free food was a
Oh,
big draw.
God, yeah,
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Mike August was there.
Oh,
He was
boy, all the
going
greats.
nuts. Yeah, all the greats.
I drove home with a giant steak on my passenger seat. It's weird.
Yes, I did too.
Because I don't want to do a show and eat this was at a list steakhouse. It was like Maestros or Maestros or I don't
Maestros,
speak
right.
French and Spanish, but it was like so they gave us these giant cuts of meat. And I just drove home. I actually had the seatbelt on it. My car smelled like, if Wendy was a real girl, the girl from Wendy's, it would probably smell like her panty drawer.
Now is that what
She
it
was a real girl.
She was a girl. Well,
Dave Thomas's daughter.
was? That
one night I role played with what's her face? Who's the Molly Ringwald? And I slapped a Wendy's wig on her, and
Oh,
you couldn't
sweet.
tell the difference.
No, you
Wow.
couldn't.
I went through her drive-through so fast you could put Marie Osmond's teeth in a gopher hole and suck lemonade out of Paul Newman's eyelids.
That
said
is
many
fast.
times.
That's very fast.
It's been said many times.
Maybe the steak belted in riding shotgun in the Harland Mobile. That's what attracted the fatty. He ended up in Bakersfield
right.
with. Like,
You got the seat warmer on to keep it nice and
I had
warm.
the seat warmer, and I got to use the diamond lane. When the cop pulled me over in the diamond, I told him it was my baby. She said, "Why is there a bone coming out of its hand?" And I said, "Well, last name Dahmer. You figure it out."
That's right. Slap that ID down. I noticed right before we started, you pointed at Evel Knievel.
Yeah.
Who's hanging up here. And you said you met him. And then I said,
when I was a little boy.
Save it for the air. But then I had some recollection of, did he come to Canada to do
No, it wasn't in
jump?
Canada. Oh, actually, I saw him in Canada. I saw him jump over 13 Mack trucks.
Right.
And it was flawless. It was as smooth as you putting butter on a piece of Sara Lee white bread in the morning with no underpants on.
Yeah, nobody doesn't like Sara
It was
Lee.
that smooth.
Yeah.
Imagine if Evel was still here for the trucker convoy.
Oh, my God. He
what
could have
fun.
jumped that.
Oh, he could have jumped the convoy. Oh, yeah. Landed on Justin Trudeau's camel toe.
He's got a muffin top.
He
So
does.
where did you run into Evel?
So my dad he had his own airplane when we were a kid. My dad was a pilot, so he had a little 4-seater Piper Cherokee. It wasn't like a big fancy, but it was a 4. So my dad liked to fly, and he said he sent my mom and my 4 sisters down to Florida on a Greyhound bus.
Really?
And he said, "The boy shall fly with Daddy." Mm-hmm. And so I'm flying with Daddy, but we're flying out of Toronto, heading
And
south.
your dad was the grand solicitor of the Yukons, right?
That's exactly right.
He had
yeah.
some kind of title.
He created Yukon bars, and
he had a title. What
he was the
title?
Solicitor General of Ontario.
I tell it, that's a dad.
You love that.
I
You
love it.
That.
I love
That's
it.
what we would call like an attorney general.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. But so we're flying, and we kind of start going through some snow. We're getting some snow clouds and ice, and Big Daddy's like, we got to put her down. So we put her down in Detroit, and we're getting off the plane, and all of a sudden I see a Lear jet with a painted logo on the side, and it's freaking Evel Knievel doing a popping a wheelie, and his picture and his name.
Yeah.
And there he is. And I go, Dad, it's Evel Knievel. And I walked over, and we were the only ones there. And I said, Evel, can I have an autograph, please? My voice was changing. And the guy pulled out, he didn't just sign it, he pulled out a picture of him midair over a bunch of something. And he signed it Evel Knievel, and I took it home, and for years I had it in my window ledge, and I didn't know the sun bleached things. So after about 2 years, you could barely see it, and I thought, well, it's still his autograph if I trace it over, but when people write, they write really fast, so there's a fluidity to an autograph, and so when I did it, it looked like I had Alzheimer's. It was just like, crooked and not Alzheimer's.
Parkinson's.
Parkinson's, yeah. That could have been Alzheimer's. And Harlan?
Yes,
Harlan,
sir,
did
yes.
he have one arm and a muffin top on his forehead?
No,
Or did
this is Evel Knievel.
I'm sure it is. But did you go to a Motel 6?
He did have his name's Evel, so he did have a 666
van
a tramp stamp.
Harlan,
with
was
a
there
priest.
A van? Was he in a van
He was
with
in
the
a van
priest?
with a priest. He jumped a van with a bunch of priests.
He had a Learjet that had his shit like in rainbow tape on the tail stab. Like I mean, did he ever, Chris? Legend has it. I can't remember. We can't figure this one out. Thank God for Evel Knievel. The legendary story was he entered a Rolls Royce in a demolition derby. That was the big story.
That's rich.
When I was a kid.
That's F me money.
Right. That sounds very evil, right?
Yeah.
But what a name. Who has that name anymore? Evel Knievel. Now you get Steve-O or, Johnny
Bam.
Knoxville. But
Yeah.
Evel Knievel? Come on,
Yeah, those
man.
were
That's
real
a name.
names.
Not even wrestlers have a name like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the best name ever, maybe.
You know how he was named?
Satan?
He had...
It's a good guess.
It's a good guess.
Well, he's got the word evil in it. I'm guessing Satan had something.
Hello, my son.
Oh, hey, Satan.
Evil.
Yeah.
Come to dinner, Evil.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about...
Go to your room, Evil. You're a bad boy.
Well, yeah, but when you name me Evil, even though it's not spelled the same, you name me Evil.
I guess you should be a bad boy
I was
if
going
you're
to say
evil.
mission accomplished.
Yeah. It's sort of the opposite of a boy named Sue.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
What's for dinner, Daddy?
Fetuses. Eat up, Evil.
Papa.
Eat your fetuses, you bad boy.
Papa, could I get a hamster and one of those little...
No, suck that umbilical cord. Your mother put ricotta cheese in it.
Papa
Yes,
Satan, could I get one of those light brights where I could I could like make a house Or could we do a gingerbread house this year for Christmas?
Go to hell, cocksucker.
Oh, my.
Oh, but Papa.
Go straight to hell.
Papa.
I hate you. I'm going to eat your eyes.
I want a beagle.
Get spread eagle. I'm going to shove a can of Pringles up there. he's
Wow.
evil. He's got to say
Not
stuff
nice.
like that.
He was.
Is that okay? Like that was a skit, folks. Don't get mad.
Yeah.
I don't want any. I mean, that's when you're playing the devil. You got to commit.
Yeah, you gotta
like
went all
you
in.
know
He
he's
went
going to
all
shove
in.
a canister of Pringles up his boy's holy hellhole.
He was in Butte, Montana. Used to evil. Got in a lot of fights and got like thrown in drunk tanks and stuff like that. And the legend has it. There was a. Now this is what the legend is. There was some guy named like Knaufel or something, and the guard came in and went,
Awful's right in his name.
yeah, Knaufel, get out, and Knievel, get out of here, and he was named
that's
him.
awesome.
Wait, it was a mispronunciation.
No,
and
He's like
he was
messing with him.
He was fucking with him.
Why doesn't someone do that to me? I want a wild.
Oh my God!
What's wrong?
Evil donated a Silver Shadow Rolls Royce driven by Bobby Unser to the demolition derby.
Wow!
Bitch.
Wow!
Oh boy.
These were simpler times,
Indeed.
people.
Oh, that's not a real roll. You can't stick a lady with wings on the hood and tell me that's like a
Spirit of Ecstasy, I think that thing is called.
Yeah, that's not real.
Hood lady.
But I'll tell you what was really interesting, and this is going to sound horrible, but going back to seeing Evel Knievel jump 13 Mack trucks at the Canadian National Exhibition in Toronto,
I
Canada.
love your dad so much.
Well, he got us in there because
That's
he was
what
a
I'm
politician.
saying.
And he got me in to see the Osmonds, the first concert I ever did. But let me finish about Evel. This is morbid, and I think lives in all of us. His jump was flawless. It was just like up and over, no bounce. He landed so smooth. And in the bottom of your heart, you're like, where's the wipeout?
Yeah.
Where's the 14
crash?
flips and his legs? It looks like Gumby's in a blender and Jamba Juice getting swirled around. Where's that?
Yeah.
Where's the flip flopping, fallopian flap flopping?
Yeah, no. You took the words out of my mouth.
That's what she's.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to see something with a little bit of horror in it, you guys
Ooh.
have mentioned a forehead muffin top now a few times.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with the show 1,000 Pound Sisters.
Whoa.
But there's this
What's it
one.
about?
Is that on the Discovery Channel?
I think
Discovery
it is.
Health,
Yeah,
or
right. And I think her
Animal
name's
Planet.
Tammy, and they had to put her on one of those like junkyard
lift.
scales. And
Whoa.
so I've seen like a couple episodes. I'm not sure how it ends, but check out her forehead because the other sister, who's only like 450, said that they've taken her to doctors, and they don't know what this bulge is in the middle of her forehead. And I don't know if it was a joke, but the sister said that the doctor said that's the only place left for the fat to go. And so it's right there in the forehead. So I mean, I'm just telling you, don't joke about a forehead
no
muffin top
place.
unless you want to see
Who's
one.
joking?
Yeah.
Who's joking? What's that tattoo though? I'm saying, or is that what is that?
That's a good question. I think there's a couple tattoos.
I got to tell you, the show's
It's
about
licorice.
You could take it.
Was
too.
it licorice?
the 600-pound, morbid obese, and the sisters that are 1,000 pounds, or the boil that's 40 pounds.
Yeah,
like I got enough Surus in my life.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
The boil that's 40 pounds.
I watch a fucking Love Boat for a reason. I'd like to
Yeah.
be swept away.
Right.
I got enough problems rolling around in my
Understood.
head. All right, let's take ourselves a quick break. We'll come back with Harland and do the news right after this. I want to tell everyone I'm going to be in Waukegan, Illinois, at the Genesee Theater tomorrow as you hear this, and there's no mask or vax proof. They just proof of vax or mask. They've lifted the whole thing. So if that may have been slowing you down, it's lifted. So I'll see you tomorrow night. Go ahead.
The Florida Senate passed a bill Tuesday that would prohibit classroom discussion about sexual orientation or gender identity in the state's primary schools. That's going to go from kindergarten to third grade. The measure that they are calling the Don't Say Gay bill by its opponents was passed by the state House last month and now heads to the Republican Governor Ron DeSantis, who previously expressed support for it. So, the measure bans classroom instruction by school personnel on sexual orientation or gender identity and prohibits teachings in a manner that is not age appropriate for students. Of course, that's a little subjective. SNL had thoughts about the bill during the Weekend Update. I don't know if you guys saw it. I'll show it to you.
What is it? It's from kindergarten to what?
Third grade, and then any other grade where things are just deemed not age appropriate. But they did a desk piece, Kate McKinnon did, and I'll show you a little bit of it. This is Colin Jost. Basically, this is where she learns that don't say gay isn't about not saying gay as a slur. It's about something else.
Yeah.
Cannot say gay
You're
in school
gay-splaining.
anymore. I'm just like, I'm so jazzed. And in Florida, of all places. I mean...
Yeah. So actually, I feel like there's been a misunderstanding. See, the law actually means that you can't acknowledge that gay exists at all.
What?
Yeah, like teachers can't speak about gay people in history, or if a kid has a gay family member.
What?
Yeah, and if a kid, confides that they're gay to a teacher, the teacher has to out them to their parents.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I'm sorry to break this to you. I probably is affecting what you were going to say.
No, yeah. Okay, well, that's okay. I'll say something. It's just that thing of like when they say don't say gay, then it's like stuck in your head, but it's fine. I can say. Okay. Anyway, I am deeply gay. Sorry, concerned. Deeply concerned. It just feels like this is going to make kids gay and trans. Sorry, depressed and suicidal. And I think these laws are lesbians. Sorry, unconscionable.
Yeah, no, I think you ended up saying gay a couple times.
Right. Well, I'm just, I'm trying to make sense of all this. Like, does this don't say gay law have a purpose?
Well, I guess it's so kids aren't going home with questions that parents don't want to answer. I don't know what the idea is.
So, like, one kid can say, I live with my parents, but another one has to say, I live in a house with 2 adult men who bought me when I was young. That's good. They'll be less confused.
Yeah, it does sound like it would be more confusing.
All right, it's funny.
Well,
the
next
there are 10 seconds left?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Look, Colin, if the 90s were right and gay means bad, then this is the gayest law I have ever seen.
Love that.
And what about the time-honored game of Smear the Queer that we grew up playing?
Bygone
Harlan?
days.
What was that one? How did that go? I don't know if I know that
You
one.
played on a handball court, and anyone who drops the ball after it caroms off the handball court.
You're the queer.
You're the queer, and we got to
I've never
smear
heard
you.
that. We grew up in Canada. Never had that.
You never
game.
had that?
No,
Harlan
seriously.
didn't know he was playing.
I grew up in
what?
SoCal, so we didn't have these laws. I was like, Robert Fulton invented the steamship and sucked a mean cock.
Wow.
That's what I grew up on.
Carol Channing's daughter.
Right. What was Fulton's Follies, Max Zapata? You can find that out.
Fulton's Follies. Yeah, no, I didn't know about that game thing. But when I was in school as a kid, I went through the Montessori system. So when I was in these lower grades, I knew every dinosaur in every era from Paleozoic to Mesozoic. I was Canadian, but I knew every state and where it was and what it was named. we weren't learning stuff like that. We were like learning about stuff we'd need in the future. Like if a dinosaur ever showed up at the house, what was it?
What would it sound like a Pegasaurus?
And that's after it fell down the stairs and a slinky landed on its clip.
What?
What?
Specific.
His North River steamboat was called Fulton's Folly? Is that what they were?
It was nicknamed Fulton's Folly.
Yeah.
Do you know steamboat is also a sex act in Virginia?
Is it?
It is, yeah.
We can't talk about gay stuff
but
here.
I had 4 of the... What? Say what now?
We can't say gay here.
No, I said it's a sex act.
Right, but it's a...
No, it's not. It can be gay or straight.
Oh,
That's
really?
the beautiful thing of a
then
steamboat. You do it in a bathtub.
Describe, or just show
You do it in
Gina.
a bathtub. Well, Gina, I'm at the Bakersfield Motel 6, room 666,
right.
and we'll see you
I'll
later
grab a
tonight.
key.
We'll leave the light on for you.
All right.
Wait, 666?
Yeah.
What's the night clerk sound like at the Motel 666?
I heard you wanted breakfast in bed, so we had a fat person
vomit a Denver omelet all over your sheets.
Do you have the continental breakfast?
Up yours, honky.
Hey, can I get a late checkout?
Of course, into eternity.
Do you guys have a shuttle to the airport?
Up your ass, farm boy.
We're going out to dinner. Can I just leave my bag at the front desk so I don't have to bring it into the room?
Sure, I'll meet you at the Golden Corral. We'll be sitting in the corner in Rebel Wilson's underpants.
You're out of regular coffee. The decaf thermos is still full, but there's no more regular. Gonna brew up a new batch?
Grab your ankles and sniff your jingle bells, whore.
Hey, do we need the key to get back into the building after midnight? My wife didn't bring her key with her.
Drive a Prius right up your snot.
What's that, Satan?
How's that again?
Do you guys have rewards, Miles? Do you have a rewards club?
Satan needs a sip of something.
Satan's out of breath.
Does the shuttle leave every hour? Because the airport's only about 15 minutes away, or does it just turn around and leave every time it fills up?
Stop at Arby's, and I'll put melted cheese on your soul. You smelly bastard.
Is there P.F. Chang's here?
Yes. Half P, half Chang.
I don't Just know. Half? Yeah. Well, does make sense. Fulton's Folly was called that because everyone assumed this new type of ship would fail. That's the guy who invented the steamship.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And it, like you said, it sounds complimentary. Like downright complimentary.
Well, we were trying to make fun of him, but that's all we could muster. Like saying
Better
good day to somebody.
What about the guy that invented the microwave, though? You know about him, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, go.
Oh, shit.
Here we go.
I remember, I just heard about it from Mike Rowe's podcast, where he had the chocolate in his pocket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Am I onto
right.
something?
That's
and
right.
he was coming up with some kind of science experiment, but his chocolate kept melting, and he couldn't figure out why.
Oh,
That's
really?
it. Yeah.
That's on
exactly
the mic.
Is that what you were going to say?
That's what I was going to say.
That's on that podcast, Mike's Rove Way.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
That's
that
real
just
good.
got you a
It's just
three-way
Mike Rowe
ticket
just
to
talking
hell,
about
player. Wow. Wow. You are going to burn in the brimstone for that corny
I'm
gag.
going to have to agree
That's
with Harland.
corny. All right. But how can I leave microwave
Yeah,
with
that's
Mike
true.
Rowe?
Good on you, mate. Good on you.
Thank you.
Well, let's talk about the Broncos. Apparently, Aaron Rodgers is staying where he is. He and the Green Bay Packers have agreed on a 4-year, $200 million contract, so that's over. There was a rumor he would either retire or go to the Broncos, but Bleacher Report says that a free agent wide receiver, Antonio Brown, reiterated this week that he and Kanye West want to buy the Broncos. He's told TMZ that he and West are extremely serious about making a play for the Broncos, and he added, "Tell Roger Goodell to call me. We're working on it. We're working towards getting this done." The Broncos were officially put up for sale last month. Longtime owner Pat Bowlen died in 2019, and per Jeff Legwold, the Broncos are valued at around $4 billion.
I'll tell you what, this is great. Antonio Brown his net worth can't be worth more than $7.7 million or $19 million.
Oh, dude, best case scenario is $10 million. That guy is suffering from some mental illness, so his money spending habits probably aren't the best.
It's a good power play. Like, I'm going to just get it out there. Like, yeah, well, you know what? Good luck, because me and Mark Garagos are thinking about buying the Broncos. And then you have to do this thing. It's like, oh, Carolla's got money. And then people will fill it in. Oh, come on. All those years in the Man Show and then Love Line's got mailbox money. He's cranking. Come on. That guy's doing very well for it. And see, they'll fill it in for you. I just put it out there.
Right.
Never going to buy him.
And wouldn't it behoove Kanye, well, I guess it doesn't matter now, but to lowball a little and say, I don't have that kind of scratch because of the divorce, but I guess that's over, so it doesn't matter.
I don't.
Who
had more money?
We were trying to figure that out between the Kardashian empire.
Well, it all sounds like folly to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of folly, Pete Davidson might be the next celebrity going to space. And I can connect the dots for you. According to Page 6, he's close to signing a deal to take flight on Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin. A source says Pete's excited. They haven't signed the contract yet, but it looks like it's going to happen.
By the way, Kanye's been working really hard to get back with Kim.
Yeah.
I say that's when he makes his move.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
That 11-minute orbit?
Yeah, like it's one thing if your boyfriend's out of town, but who knows if he caught an earlier flight, he's back in L.A. or whatever. But when he's literally not on the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Time to
the
strike.
time to
Make a
strike.
move.
You make a move.
Player.
Yeah.
And it's not
Players
random.
gotta play.
Apparently, he and Kim were invited over to the Bezos compound. I'm sure it was probably more to do with Kim and her +1, but they got to know each other, and Bezos would like to have him saddle up on the flight.
Now, is this all Bezos and promotion? Is this his new wife wanting to hang out with
Interesting.
With Kim.
I haven't considered that.
Yeah.
Like, because Bezos, I don't know, is everyone a star fucker? Do you know what I mean? Like, no matter how powerful, how rich, how much you've achieved and what you've done, at the end of the day, do we all just want to hang out with a Kardashian?
Well, it's like you say about, a man can be as successful and rich, but the most popular person in the room is the hot waitress.
Yeah.
Isn't it the same thing?
Right.
Yeah. I basically say, I'll put it to you this way. If you took George Clooney and you fill in Keanu Reeves and the biggest Brad Pitt, and you put them all out to dinner, and the waitress was a piping hot 27-year-old blonde, she would be a bigger celebrity at that table, and there would be more fawning and small talk over her than there would going the other direction. That's
so I think that applies to this.
Mm-hmm.
So, he'll be off terra firma for a while.
And what if, God forbid, something happens to the rocket? It'll be the day comedy died. Where should we go for mirth with Pete Davidson gone? You know what I mean? It'll be like when the Big Bopper, Buddy Holly died. What?
I've got a place for Pete Davidson.
Where is that place?
It's the opposite of space.
Oh. It's Earth's inner core?
Underwater?
It's down below.
Are the rivers on fire?
That's right, my child.
And will you torment him sufficiently? Look, if he does go to hell, I just want to make sure you don't skimp on the tormenting. I feel like he's tormented me. You know what I'm saying, Satan?
Yes, my child.
Really, I know the days you want to take a nap or you're just not feeling it, or it's that time of the month, but I need you to really torment the shit out of Pete Davidson.
He shall be skinned hourly.
Okay, good.
Now we're talking.
Now we're talking. And don't farm it out. I want
we
you
will
there.
bathe him in Taco Bell hot sauce.
Oh, after he's skin,
Yes,
right?
my child.
Yeah.
Go after him with the poker.
And we will make him sniff your leotards.
Oh, the crotch. Yeah. Good. I like this, Satan.
Thank you, my child.
Okay.
Well, more people are leaving, and maybe we should have talked to Jack Osbourne about this when he was on. Sharon and Ozzy are out. They're done with LA. They're done with the United States. TMZ reports that Ozzy and Sharon are moving back to the UK. Ozzy said it's because the taxes are too high. They've lived in Beverly Hills for 25 years. Ozzy told The Mirror, "I'm taking my recording studio with me. I'm going to build a barn there and make my own studio. I'll be making music, and the band will come to me." And TMZ also reports that they'll be doing some consulting from a distance. There's a new project in the works chronicling Ozzy and Sherry's relationship, and Black Sabbath and Ozzy's solos will provide the soundtrack for the movie.
Satan, you've worked with Ozzy, right?
Black Sabbath. I used to be the drummer.
Oh, really?
I was the original drummer.
Very close.
Yes, but then I got arthritis. I had to retire in hell.
Oh, okay. But you originally drummed back in the day?
Yes, my child. I also like chicken drumsticks.
Yeah, any kind of drumstick.
Now, they should do a show with Ozzy about a speech therapist or something. This is the only guy who's going to go back to London and live in Cockney when they talk like, hey, you can't understand it. All right, but he's going to fit in like a glove, this guy, because he can't. I want to do steam around this guy.
Is big a ripoff as Beverly Hills in California is in the upper tax brackets. London can't, or England is.
Yeah.
I thought it was worse.
Well, you heard about tax exiles, right?
Mhm.
Like George, all the Beatles, all the famous,
Mick Jagger,
John, everyone, all the famous musicians back in the day left.
Yeah, I think they've adjusted to get them back, but
He must be getting a sweet deal.
But I don't know what they're doing over there. Anyway,
Does he still make music?
I don't know. We got to ask Satan.
Who? Wait, Ozzy
Osbourne.
He does make music.
Oh, does he?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
When he gets naked.
Oh.
And the wind blows through his
Forget it.
Too delicate for Satan.
Too delicate for Satan.
Virgin ears.
Well, hopefully, Jack says Sharon's a fan, so hopefully we can get Sharon Osbourne on to spill what she knows.
But she'll be gone soon.
We got to move on that.
I know, we got to move on that.
Speaking of music, do you want to hear? Actually, I'd like you to guess what's the absolute saddest song of all time, according to a recent survey of 2,000 adults. I have the top 3, and I'm not talking all. Let's do the last.
All right.
30 years.
You got Seasons in the Sun.
Yeah.
But let's do even more modern.
More modern. Well, I mean, you got you got Eric Clapton and "Seeing You in Heaven" or whatever.
Number 3. Tears in Heaven.
Tears. There's 2 that beat you writing a song about your son falling off a balcony.
Yes.
Oh wow. What about Gilbert O'Sullivan? Alone Again, Naturally.
Yeah,
I remember I cried when my father died. I skinned my face or something.
More modern than Without You.
That could have been number 4. Yeah, like the last. Yeah, I'd say 30 years.
Dixie Chicks, Traveling Soldier.
No, two very, very famous songs.
Yeah, this is 2,000 adults. So this is some stupid song.
For me, it's Imagine because it's inspired so many dingbats over the years to talk out of their ass.
Did this story back in 2006 when that was a story back then. It was a Verve song, but I can't imagine a song.
Oh, what about The Cats in the Cradle, that song about the father and the son?
Harry Chapin, I think.
No, thanks, I'm busy.
Maybe that's number 5. I'm going to tell you the top 4 songs, actually. 2 covers. We have I Will Always Love You, Whitney Houston's version.
Mm-hmm.
We have Tears in Heaven, like you said. We have Nothing Compares to You, Sinead O'Connor.
Great song.
Number 1, according to the people, it is pretty sad.
It is pretty sad.
Not for me.
The number 1 saddest song, R.E.M's Everybody Hurts.
Okay.
All right.
On the nose.
What about Love Hurts by Nazareth?
Love hurts,
love stings. Right?
You know what They ruined that song for me because it ended up in like a shaving cream commercial.
Oh, really?
Do you remember that?
Yes.
And it's like your
It makes
face
sense,
takes a lot of abuse. And there's like woman hitting a guy with flowers in the face. And now, but with Barbasol, it doesn't have to hurt so bad anymore. And it's like, oh, come on,
Ruined
Nazareth.
Horrible.
I expected more. Well, you know it comes from Nazareth, Satan.
Yes, I do.
I don't want to upset you.
Well, I'll tell you the happiest songs from the people surveyed. Queen's Don't Stop Me Now, Dancing Queen by ABBA, Walking on Sunshine by Katrina and the Waves.
The Queen catalog has been opened up, and now it's ending up everywhere.
In the zeitgeist.
But what about that one, the recent one where the guy goes, clap along if you're happy with the...
Right, Pharrell.
Yeah. That's a great happy.
I'm happy. Yeah, it's called happy. Yeah,
it's called Happy. Hello, Hello.
Right
There's an Asper cream commercial with the Nazareth song in it?
No, we got to hear that. Oh,
Here we go. Shoulder hurts, fighting with the dog.
And it's not a sound alike or feel alike.
Doing the things we love can be painful.
Moving the world's smallest amp.
Actually, that may be the same singer, but that's certainly a re-record.
Oh, really?
Re-record for the mechanical rights.
Oh, well, you know.
I wish that song was to Summer's Eve. That would work real great.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true. Yeah.
Love Chiefs.
Yeah, urinary tract infections.
Brilliant.
Yeast stings.
Indeed.
Do we have, there's one, I think it was shaving cream or Gillette or something, some Gillette commercial
with the
Nazareth.
Love Hurts things?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it would be good for medication for UTIs, right?
Indeed.
What's a UTI?
It's
You know what that
It's
is.
a urinary tract infection.
Are you serial?
Very dead serial.
That's the name of my bank.
UTI?
Yeah.
That's where you made your
I'm
deposits?
switching to Wells Fargo now. Thanks for the update,
Do you
Corn
know?
on the Cob.
Do you know why women get UTIs far more often than men do?
I don't think men get them.
You can, but it's very difficult because
God has cursed them.
and because
Their
the
opening's
distance.
a lot bigger?
It's a lot farther away from the urinary
The
tract.
bottom line is we're supposed to be banging people hard and indiscriminately, and
Right.
you guys aren't. And so
taking
you're
the
punished.
banging, sure.
But you're also going to get more bacteria. Like guys have a hole that maybe an inchworm could get in, and
Right.
girls have an opening that a small
you drive a
gopher
truck,
could,
Georgina.
So you're going to get more
Yeah.
bacteria
Yeah, one of those
in
electric
a
bakery
gopher
trucks.
hole than a wormhole.
All
Yeah.
science.
Yeah.
It's science.
What?
Yeah, no science. All right, bring it home, Gina.
I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
What's for dinner, Daddy?
Fetuses.
Gina. That was the news with Gina Grad.
All right, I'll let you find that song.
I'm not seeing it.
Nazareth. God, it was guys getting slapped in the face.
It makes sense.
And I can't remember what probably 90s, 80s, 90s spot. All right, I'll tell you about Geico. Oh, like to save a little money on your insurance? Well, of course you would. Who wouldn't love a deal? Well, that's where Geico comes in. Get great rates on everything. Yes, you can insure a truck. You can insure a motorcycle,
Probably can't sing
a
a
boat.
song over this.
Oh, yeah, we can't clear it. Come on.
It's all right.
RV, homeowners, condos, renters insurance, it's all there with Geico. You can save hundreds with their discount when you bundle. Plus, you add the easy-to-use Geico mobile app, 24-hour roadside assistance, and switch to Geico. It's a no-brainer at geico.com. All right, Max Pay, you got 10 seconds.
We have a Gatorade commercial. Maybe that's
Was it another?
Oh.
Yeah.
Another Nazareth?
Boy.
A lot of people straining and falling off bicycles and
Yeah, but the word love doesn't play in at all.
Love of the game.
Like,
This is tough to watch.
It's like a stretch.
Yeah.
the key word is love.
Yeah.
And this should be a commercial for a Motel 6, really.
I feel like you're a commercial for Motel 6.
Like if
brought it up 9
this
times on this
hotel's
podcast.
a rockin', don't bother knocking. Love hurts, and then people screaming and something getting caught in a ceiling fan and smashing out the window and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
All right, you've earned a plug because of all the calories you burned on this. Crave, a collection of short stories by Harland Williams, available now on Amazon. And live dates, Corpus Christi, sorry, Satan, Texas, Mesquite Street Comedy Club. That'll be Friday and Saturday, this Friday and Saturday. And then Phoenix, Arizona at the Tan Brewing Company, March 25th and 26th. You just go to his website, harlandwilliams.com.
And don't forget my T-shirts.
Oh,
I hand draw
Harbling.
them at harbling.com.
Oh, harbling.com.
That's awesome.
T-shirts.
That is awesome. So let's see. Oh, God. Ralph Pezzullo and Harland Williams and Bald Bryan and Gina Grad. Say it. Mahala.
Zombie story in there, and there's a story about suicide, and there's a story about an animal sanctuary.
Oh.
When did this dark side creep out of Harland Williams?
It's always been there. We all have it. You have it too, friend. Put down the lollipop and the cinnamon gums and start murdering, friend.